Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 57th episode of DC Animation with Spencer and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear family member.
Edwin Miles.
Yes, once again, Edwin is joining us today on this episode, and you heard him on the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, so we don't even need to, talk about what he is into because all of it, DC, for the win.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC animation.
No, he's
Today's film is Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2, released July 27th, 2021, and the comic book on which it was based is of the same name. I will read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're going to talk about it.
Yes, sir.
So, we open in Wayne Manor, where Bruce Wayne is fully under Poison Ivy's control and signing over his assets to Falcone. Over the next three holidays, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and April Fool's, the Nipple Killer strikes and Batman is nowhere to be found. Catwoman shows up and kicks Poison Ivy in the mouth, saving Bruce from her control. She updates him on what's been going on, and Alfred calls the lawyers to sort things out. It's Mother's Day, and Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent are investigating the murder of Chong, who appears to be the Nipple Killer's gun supplier. That evening, Scarecrow escapes from Arkham and Batman tries to interrogate him but ends up getting dosed with the fear toxin. He is trapped in a genjutsu, forced to relive his parents' murder. Catwoman finds him and takes him back to the manor. Falcone gets a visit from his daughter Sophia, who wants to be in on the action, but Falcone tells her that now is not the time. Bruce Wayne is interrogated by Jim and Harvey since he never gave a statement for the night Alberta was murdered, and Harvey then grills Bruce on his father's dealings with the Falcone family. We are then taken into a flashback. Falcone's father brings Falcone to Thomas Wayne after he was shot by Luigi Moroni. Thomas Wayne saves his life, and Bruce is pretty sure that that's why his parents got killed. So there is no relationship between the Wayne and Falcone families today. On Father's Day, Sal Maroni, who is dating Sophia on the low, goes to visit his father Luigi. During their visit, the Nipple Killer pops Luigi. In response, Falcone makes a trip to, or that's not in response. Falcone makes a trip to the cemetery, to meet with an assassin. And in response to the death of his father, Sal goes to Harvey to make a deal. He gives him all of the information he has on Falcone that can put him away in exchange for immunity. Harvey uses a coin flip to decide and takes the deal. It's July 4th, and the city is having a fireworks show that nobody really shows up to. Meanwhile, Batman catches Scarecrow robbing a bank. While trying to stop him, he gets clocked by the Mad Hatter. Over at the fireworks show, Catwoman stops Harvey's assassination attempt, and both of them end up getting knocked out. Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter drop the money that they stole for Falcone at the cemetery, but Batman wakes up and stops them. Harvey Dent wakes up with blood literally on his hands and the Nipple Killer's murder of the would-be assassin. He hears a voice tell him to run, so he leaves. The voices in his head continue, and Harvey Dent is in court with Sal Maroni. Batman meets with Jim Gordon on the roof and shows him what he found. He found a nipple gun in Harvey's house. Over in court, Sal accuses Harvey of being the Nipple Killer and throws acid in his face. Harvey is taken to the hospital, and the voices in his head decide, you know what, we'll take it from here. I'm gonna just go ahead and take control. Yeah, you're fine with that, right? He then escapes the hospital to meet with Falcone, but it's a trap. Luckily, Harvey is able to get out of that. And at Falcone's birthday party, his sister Carla is killed by the Nipple Killer. Batman interrogates Gilda, looking for Harvey, and Harvey ends up in the sewers, and he makes friends with Solomon Grundy. It's Labor Day, and Batman visits Calendar Man, while Solomon Grundy and Two-Face attack the prison truck that Maroni is in. Two-Face is about to kill Maroni, but of course Batman intervenes, and the Nipple Killer kills Maroni, and Two-Face escapes. Now it's Halloween, and Gilda has, a police protection detail. Two-Face and Solomon Grundy break into Arkham, and Batman goes to visit Falcone. Falcone pulls a gun on him, but Catwoman intervenes. She implies that Falcone is her father. Then shit starts blowing up. Two-Face broke the villains from earlier out of Arkham, and they are just causing a ruckus.
Mm.
Solomon Grundy and Two-Face then show up at Falcone's house with Penguin and the Joker, and Falcone is captured, and Two-Face starts monologuing. Just as he flips the coin, Batman and Catwoman show up, and they start throwing hands. All the villains are knocked out except for Harvey, who does flip that coin and decides Falcone's fate, which is death by
Mm.
2 bullets.
Bullets.
And Sophia walks in to see what happens. Shortly thereafter, Catwoman is unable to save Sophia from falling out of a window, and Falcone dies in Batman's arms. Harvey, Jim, and Batman meet on the roof one last time, and Harvey takes responsibility for the nipple killings. Batman visits Gilda, and it is revealed that she and Alberto were going to start a life together, but Falcone wasn't having it. Their marriage and their baby were both canceled, so she marries Harvey and took revenge into her own hands. Batman leaves, and Bruce is visited by trick-or-treaters. In the end credits scene, Bruce is visited by Flash and Green Arrow. And that's the movie.
I keep forgetting the end credit scenes because I definitely skipped that.
I mean, it's fine. It's literally just them. Like, they just pop up at the door, and Alfred is like, Master Wayne, it's for you.
Like the Justice League, we need you.
Yeah.
And Darkseid's coming. Oh, God.
So, Edwin, what do you think of part 2?
I think part 2 is the best part. It all brings it all together. As far as the villains, great villains, except for one. I don't give a damn about the Mad Hatter. Like, why are you here? But
Why are you here?
But other than that, all the villains were great.
Okay.
And a good twist and plot twist. I was like, I wonder what happened to that child. Did they just they kill it, or did they give it up to adoption and they just put him on another side of the world?
Nope. He was like,
like 9 months. She was far in pregnancy. So you telling me Falcone is killing babies?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, because based on that picture, she was good and pregnant.
She was about to have a child.
And yeah, no, they said no. We're not doing that.
Like, okay, Falcone, that's wild.
That's a late term abortion, but I mean,
I guess, or they hinted at it. We don't know.
Yeah, Falcone's not a good dude, so.
But killing babies is wild. But he's a mobster.
Yeah, and that baby was a bastard who couldn't, tarnish the family name.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, they had to say goodbye to that baby, which is, yeah. Like, now, when you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, he should have died.
Yeah, technically.
But
then again, her to go out and kill the man that she once loved, I'm like, okay, well, that's wild.
Yep, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
So, I also thought it was good. This follows pretty closely to the comic book from what I remember. It's been a while since I've read it, but I want to say in the comic book there were a couple of differences. So one of the things that I do remember happening in the comic book is that Alberto was Holiday, or at least Alberto took responsibility for the Holiday killings.
Mm-hmm.
And Gilda at the end, I feel like kind of just burned the stuff because Harvey was also involved and she like really loved Harvey. But in this, they created a relationship between Alberto and Gilda that kind of led us here, and Gilda being the Holiday killer, like, I think that was a good twist.
It was, yeah, it was very actually.
But in the comic book, Alberto faked his own death and then ended up being
on the boat, but he was actually alive.
Yeah.
Okay, that would have been a cool twist as well. Still, but whatever.
But I liked the fact that he died and was dead.
The end was chopped up into a million pieces.
Yeah. And that's another thing is, like, if you read the comic book before watching this movie, then you're like, oh, he faked his death. That's why there wasn't a body. It was just, a puddle of parts. Yeah. And it's like, nope, he was dead.
Yeah, this one they were like, no, he gone.
Yeah, he gone. So, yeah. I gotta say, I think that I like I like the way that things ended up in the movie better than in the comic book, personally.
Hmm.
Just a little bit. Another thing I think I remember, I feel like the Triad wasn't involved. I feel like he had the Irish do the stuff that the Triad did in
Which would make
this
more
movie.
sense because that would make it a for real mob movie.
Yeah, but yeah,
Because they don't really make mob movies with Asian gangsters in New York, which they probably were, but we don't talk about it.
yeah.
They
I
didn't
mean,
have power.
I feel like the Triad and the Yakuza are in their own areas generally, but also they could be worldwide syndicates. Who
Technically,
knows?
I don't know.
But and then I want to say Bruce gets arrested in the comic book, and because I remember Alfred being in court and basically saying like, "Well, the police fucked up because they didn't know about Thomas Wayne saving Falcone's life. Like the fact that Falcone got shot never got reported because of all the police corruption. So
But yeah,
release Master Wayne.
even though Thomas was like, "You should have taken him to the hospital," and they were like, "We can't do
Yeah, well, you know we can't do that.
that."
Yeah, like we have to have a shady vet, but luckily you're a person doctor, so good.
Yeah, which
So,
kind of I like to have the stories like there are really no good people or bad people. Like they're just people.
yep.
At the end of it, I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to do some lot of crazy decisions with people you don't like, but for the greater good.
For the greater good.
For the greater good, because they've got I need them.
So the movie starts where, of course, the last one left off, and we just see, Bruce Wayne is in a dream,
Well,
and Poison Ivy got him signing over all kinds of shit.
really, yeah.
And the fact that he was under for 3 months is crazy.
Yeah, I always wondered. I was like, did he go to the bathroom or how did she? I always think of the human shit. like,
Yeah,
I was
like
like,
the day to day,
how did she keep him alive?
like is he sleeping while,
It
like, do
comes
you have him, like, what do we, how does, yeah, three
and
months a long time.
it was two people. It was her and it was him and uh
Alfred.
Alfred. So she had two people under her spell.
Yeah. And again, like, I know that she can maintain the spell, but like, yeah, how did,
So
like,
for
was
three,
she,
they're like, yeah, Bruce Wayne has been missing. Like,
well, they said that he was still making appearances, and because one of the things that is mentioned is that, like, because Catwoman, he says to Catwoman, like, how did you know? And he's like, the fact that you were next to this bitch for 3 months, yeah,
oh,
I
because
peeped that.
they were in appearances together around. So it was his new girlfriend, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'm sure that she felt some kind of way about that.
of course she did. She
Of
was
course she
like,
did.
that's my man.
But yeah, I'm like, did you keep up with Bruce's gym regimen? And
She knows everything about him.
you had Alfred cooking the meals. Like, what do we? How did?
Wild thing, because Bruce is still at heart is still a man. So I guess if you seduce him enough, you can do whatever you want.
But I mean, her whole thing is like controlling men with hormones and all that.
Oh yeah,
So, but again, like you're right. I kind of wonder like the everyday stuff that humans have to do,
yeah,
or does her plant love sustain him?
yeah. I mean, she is practically the strongest person in that world, isn't she?
She's a problem. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody either deities like that are effectively directly to Batman. Like I mean, Dark Side and all that they don't count. But
Yeah. But as
that
far as
world, I think Poison Ivy is the main baddie, really, as far as powers go.
yeah, in his rogues gallery, she might be the most formidable. Because yeah, like Mr. Freeze is a problem, but he needs stuff.
Scientist, yeah, I mean, he needs all this stuff. Yeah, she's
Uh,
like, I can make the world die if I wanted to.
yeah, like, or yeah, like I could. Yeah, she's a problem,
Yeah,
and she can create and is immune to a lot of poisons and stuff, which I will also talk about later. But um, so we see that there are people dying on Valentine's Day, people dying on St. Patrick's Day, people dying on April Fool's Day. So, nipple killer hasn't stopped, man's busy. And Catwoman shows up, and yeah, she literally just kicks Poison Ivy in the mouth,
Hmm.
and that releases everything. And Alfred is like, I will call the lawyers right now.
Yep.
Because yeah, we
No matter what hour it is, it could be 3 in the morning.
well, yeah, when you got that kind of money, they're on
When
standby.
you're on retainer for millions and millions of dollars, I'll answer any call. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mr. Wayne is calling.
Yep. Drop everything you're doing.
Drop everything you're doing. I don't
Yeah, we
care.
got a job to do right now.
Mr. Wayne is calling.
Yep. So on Mother's Day, they find the guy who's been supplying the nipple killer the weapons. He has been killed, and it's like, oh, they're cleaning house, they're removing loose ends. Like this is it's not looking good.
Hmm.
And we see that Scarecrow has escaped Arkham, and Batman, he's ready for the gas, so he's got the little mask, and he's like, tell me uh, tell me how you escaped, and then he just gets a straight injection.
Yeah. And he's like, you're getting it directly to the veins.
Yeah, and he just immediately falls into, a hallucination where he kind of relives the killing of his parents. And one of the things I liked is that because this reminded me of Shaniqua and myself, where Batman runs into a family
Hmm.
and the wife is like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And the husband is like, "I don't care. We're leaving."
We're leaving.
That's exactly how that would have gone.
I was like, this man is a masked man. I was like, it's Batman. I don't.
Yeah, Shaniqua would have been like, "Oh my God, is he okay? He probably needs help." And I would have been like, "Fuck that guy. We're leaving.
We're leaving because
I don't know this man."
danger follows him.
Yeah, absolutely not. I
Yeah.
don't know who he is. I don't even fucking heard he is. Somebody, we can call the police. We
All
can
the
do
police.
that. Or we can call the ambulance, whoever he needs. We can call the emergency line, but no, we're
Yeah.
leaving.
We're getting out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in an alley and no, we're not doing that. So, Catwoman finds him and luckily she finds him and she returns him to the manor because he's unmasked. Like he's just
Now,
out. And so, yeah, like luckily it's her. She finds him, takes him back to the house. And again, I think in the comic book at this point, that's when he gets like under the fear toxin is when he gets arrested
mm,
because Harvey finds a connection between the families, between the Wayne family and the Falcones. So he arrests him, and then Alfred in court just embarrasses them,
like always.
like always.
Like no one will believe you.
And then we see the Falcone, it's Father's Day, and Falcone gets visited by Sophia, who in this movie is a lot of woman.
It's a lot of lady.
Yeah, like she is death by snoo snoo.
I know you can power clean a good 500 pounds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like she lifts.
Yeah.
Because she's bigger than Falcone is.
Yeah, he is bigger than his dad.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that, yeah. And she's like, hey, I, want to be a part of the family. I want to contribute. I want to be, in there. And he's like,
No,
ah,
nah. He doesn't.
if yeah, if we do that, it makes it look like I'm grooming a successor, and that makes me look old and weak, and I cannot have I like the optics.
Or I think also in the deeper things, he doesn't want his kids doing this at all.
Yeah.
I want something better for y'all. That's just my.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want y'all doing this. I had to do this, but you know,
Yeah, like you stay far away from this. Here's
hey,
some money.
here's some money. Go away.
Yeah, go buy yourself something nice.
That's how it's supposed to be. You don't need to know the family business. Just enjoy.
Yeah. And yeah. So Jim and Harvey go to see Bruce Wayne and they're like, "Hey, we noticed that you were at the party and you were the only person who never made a statement." And he was like, "I mean, yeah, I left on one of the little lifeboats. You probably saw that that was missing, right?"
Mm.
And I really didn't want to say anything because I was with some wives, and they probably we don't need their business out there, right? And what was hilarious to me is he makes the joke about like, oh yeah, their husbands were not happy about what I had going on. And Jim just starts cracking up.
He's like,
And Harvey doesn't.
no, he's not happy about that.
And I was like, that's funny because Jim's a cheater. Like,
Yep.
that's why he thought it was funny because he too is a cheater.
Who did he cheat with, or did he just cheat in general? I forgot that story, that part of his life.
Yeah, I want to say it was with Sarah, who was a police officer that he worked with.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Those aren't your kids.
So yeah, that was funny to me. I was like, I think it's hilarious that Jim thought that was funny because there's a story where Jim cheats on his wife.
Mm.
And because yeah, like they try to blackmail him with it, and he ends up telling his wife. And so whenever they call and try to blackmail him with it, she's like, I already know.
So
So yeah.
that's the easiest way to like beat somebody with blackmail. Just tell them, like,
Yeah.
what you gonna do now? It's like 8
Yeah.
Mile. Now tell them something about me they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're asking him questions, and then Harvey's like, so you and the Falcones are real cozy. You got a relationship. What the fuck is up with that? And Bruce, tells the story, or at least we see the story about how
8 year old
Thomas Wayne,
brain.
yeah, Thomas Wayne ends up saving Falcone's life because he got shot and they couldn't take him to the hospital. And then he says, and because my father saved his life, my father ended up dead a month later. So I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, I mean that's the burden that he has in his brain. But I think Joe Chill is just a guy. They were
Yeah.
just wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. But of course, in this version, it's like you got to have a reason, got to have logic. It's got to make sense why somebody would do that.
In his brain.
So, yeah. He's like, for the record, I don't fuck with them. Like, matter of fact, like all they stole my shit. They had me drugged.
Yeah, they had me drugged and I was signing over paperwork.
Yeah, and I have all that sorted out now. So, yeah, no, I do not fuck with them at all.
Which makes me wonder, why didn't Bruce Wayne go as Bruce Wayne and just turn them in for fraud?
Uh, he probably did, and they just got off. And because that's Harvey's problem is that like there are too many people that are in their pocket that are bribable that are just able to get away with stuff. So I'm sure that Falcone could just write a check and make that disappear.
But Bruce Wayne is smarter than everybody on the planet.
Yeah, probably.
He should have been like, Harvey, do exactly as I say. And well, I don't know. Then like, why do you know all this?
You're not wrong, but money, I think, gets too much done. And there weren't any people that would have been able to actually make that happen because they were already like Falcone already had them in his pocket, or he was in their pockets.
No, Bruce ain't bribing the wrong people for the wrong thing.
Yeah, because what would have to happen is Bruce would have to bribe them to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But then those same people would be like, now my family is under threat.
Yeah, and they're like, like when they're like, why is Bruce doing this? Who is this man? Oh, he might be Batman.
Yeah. So, yeah, like it would be really hard for Bruce to actually get involved with that because he now has to protect that judge's family. So, yeah. But on Father's Day, we see that Sal and Sophia are dating. And they're trying to keep it quiet because one of the things that Sal says is like, my dad would not be okay with this. So you stay in the car.
Oh.
And I was like, it's so like, so both of Falcone's children are dating people that they have no business being with, as far as Falcone is concerned.
I mean, that's how it happens with most powerful families. They're like, I don't want to be married by somebody you picked. I want somebody I just met.
You're like, I want who I want. And
yeah, I know what I want.
And so, yeah, like, but Alberto found somebody that was kind of random and accidentally got her pregnant. With Sophia, she's with the enemy.
family. I'm like, oh god, he's just playing with fire with some gasoline too.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, how did y'all find each other? Because again, y'all are from warring, opposing families. So how
They're
did this happen?
they're probably young. They grew up or went to high school or some shit like that. I don't know.
Maybe, but yeah,
Had each other on the football team. Shit.
they may have met on the football team. Yes. Oh God.
I think I met
So
her in college on the rugby team. Shit.
yeah, exactly. That's funny. Um, so he goes to see Luigi, who, is an old man, and they're just kind of talking, and then oh no, he gets shot in the throat. And Sal does exactly what you should do. Like Sal is furious and
Oh,
starts
yeah.
chasing him.
I'd be chased out of the course of I'm like, I'm not stopping until I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm not stopping. So, yeah, unfortunately, the nipple killer gets away. Sophia's like, "Hey, I heard a gunshot. What happened?" And yeah, they go see him. And one of the things that he said was like, you may have to make peace with your enemy." And so we see Falcone at the cemetery making a deal, like handing somebody some money for a job. And we see that Catwoman is, watching the situation take place. Catwoman's always lurking in the background when it comes to Falcone.
He's damn near the second ear of Batman.
Yeah. And a lot of it, again, is like she's just shadowing Falcone in all of his operations. Um, because yeah, she's got some interest in this, and we see that Sal goes to Harvey and says, "Hey, my dad told me to make peace with my enemies. I thought he meant the Falcones, but I think he actually meant the police. So here's the deal.
Mm.
I have enough info to put Falcone away forever.
You do.
All I need is immunity
Mm.
for me and my men." And Harvey probably thinks back to the conversation that he had on the rooftop about like we don't have to like yes, we have a book.
But we don't have to go by it.
Yeah, as long as you don't
Bend the rules, don't break them.
yeah, as long as you don't kill anybody, I think yeah, we can live rules adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So, and we also kind of see the origin of the coin in the flashback because we see that it is originally Falcone who has the coin.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of a you have to make your own luck situation. And Bruce is kind of like, well, you didn't. You got shot.
Yeah. I was like, you did not make your own luck.
Yeah. So, great job there. But yeah. So Harvey eventually gets the coin and we see how that happens. But yeah, he said, heads, I'll take you up on that deal. And he does.
Yep.
So we're at our next holiday. It's July 4th. They skipped Juneteenth, but that's fine. Uh, yeah, they skipped Juneteenth, but that's okay. That is okay.
That would have been a wild like take though if they did something on Juneteenth because everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, but it's fine.
Like, how would you? Who would pop up if they who's black in Batman's world?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, thinking about it, I don't think there were any black people,
Except until they got to the Justice League when Hal Gordon was black. But
well, John Stewart's black.
John Stewart, yeah, I was like, yeah, John Stewart,
but yeah, like I mean, like in this movie, like there are just no black people, and I don't really know what time period this is, so
I think it's the 1930s. So
yeah, like I don't, yeah,
it's the 1930 hundreds thousands.
Yeah,
future old.
Yeah, so if it's the 30s, then yeah, I see why we don't see any black people. They're all on the other side of town.
Yeah,
but
and on his side. Well, technically in Gotham, but whatever.
I guess no, there was one black cop. I guess one of the cops that was with Gilda on Halloween, he was black.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I think he's the representation.
That's all you need.
Yeah, he was celebrating Juneteenth probably, but anyway, we see a fireworks show and they say like, "Oh, nobody's here," and it's like, "Yeah, do you remember what happened on New Year's Eve?"
Oh yeah.
good thing nobody's here because I don't have to worry about a bunch of people.
Yeah, they were like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah. So while that's going on, Batman catches Scarecrow, robbing Gotham Bank. And he is prepared for him this time. He's like, you're not gonna stick me again.
Which is wild because those, I just realized, I was like, Scarecrow is kind of strong because those sacks of money, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, them sons of bitches better be 200 pounds a piece because there was
Yeah,
money in that bag and he
a
just
lot of money in those bags.
yoked it out the window. I was like, all right.
Yeah. And yeah, Jonathan Crane is not a large, like he may be tall, but he's slender.
He's a slim chicken.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of muscle on him, but the movie's got to happen.
What was
So
what was his job before he became a scarecrow? I forgot.
I want to say he was,
Warrior?
he was a doctor,
The doc. Okay.
because all of Batman's villains are doctors.
They're all smart.
Um,
Like I said, all the villains got to be smart because there's no way regular people can do the shit that they do.
that is true. Um, but yeah, I want to say he dealt with hallucinogenic drugs. Like I think that was his.
He was a pharmacist.
Yeah, I want
Okay.
to say, and or no, he was a psychologist that studied fears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to say yeah, he was a psychologist and uh, I guess a psychiatrist as far as the drugs go.
Okay.
But um, yeah, again, a doctor because all of them are.
Yeah.
So like Pamela, Poison Ivy, botanist.
Botanist, Harley Quinn,
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
psychiatrist. Yep. Mad Hatter's probably a doctor.
I don't care about that man.
I know, and I'm gonna yeah. So we're at the point where he shows up. So
I'm,
Batman is stopping Scarecrow, and then he gets hit by the Mad Hatter, and I'm like,
I'm like, really,
why?
Batman? A coffee mug by a man who's 3'5"?
Really? Yeah. Like, and you know, one of the things that bothered me is how is the Mad Hatter not being affected by the fear toxin? Because it's a gas that he should
Well,
be that it should be bothering him.
well, there was one time when Batman just walked through it.
Well,
When
I assume Batman was just holding his breath because Batman,
because
but
I was like, that was a direct hit, Batman. He was like, no, give me that glove. You eat it. I'm
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah, but like yeah, whenever they were in the street, Poison Ivy, I understand why she's not affected
Yeah,
because she's Poison Ivy, but the
yeah.
Mad Hatter, that you should be just as scared as all these cops are.
Maybe because maybe because he's insane enough. I don't know. Was Joker ever affected by that stuff?
No, I don't think so.
I
But
think
the Joker's probably one of those people that don't got no fears.
did that too. That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe they're not scared to death.
But yeah, it should have worked on like
Because Solomon Grundy didn't get scared. He just passed out.
yes.
So
So yeah, he just yeah. But anyway, yeah, he gets hit by the Mad Hatter, and yeah, like if I'm Batman, I'm mad about that.
yeah, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I'd be like, this fucking guy,
Like a guy who's nothing hit me.
yeah, not even worth my. All right, okay,
Boy, if I would have woke up and found that out, I'd have just gone and I would have done like Thanos did to that one random kid, and I would have just tormented him for the rest of his life.
Jesus. But that's why you're not Batman.
Yeah, that's what
So over at the fireworks show, the assassin just kind of rolls up on Harvey because at first, Falcone and his police detail show up and he's like, Dent. And he's like, don't you
what you say?
yeah, you talking to me? And he's like, no, I was talking to your wife.
I was like, ooh, foreshadow.
Yeah. Because we don't know that she hates that man yet.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like he basically like flexes on him and then keeps going. And then yeah, we see the assassination attempt, and luckily Catwoman is there and she stops that from happening. And somehow this assassin manages to knock them both the fuck out.
Yeah, that was wild too because I was like, Catwoman is beating the hell out of that dude. He shouldn't be getting up too soon. And that motherfucker got right up and hit her with a rock.
Right up.
Rock.
Yeah, I think it was a rock. And I'm like, how did you not knock him out, but he knocked you out?
I was like, and you're a cat. You should have reflexes. You should have seen that coming.
You should have seen it coming.
But
But
it's like
okay.
that Bruce. It was like just I'm like, there's some things in this story.
Yeah, and they're young. Like they're new to this. Like Batman doesn't even have a Robin yet. So he mentions earlier in the film, like, I didn't think I would have to become a detective. So this is a very early Batman. Like the fact that he was
Unless
you know
you're
what?
two, because it only takes
I
three
don't
before Robin shows up.
I don't know exactly what year in his Batmaning this is.
I'm thinking
Like I don't know how long he's been Batman in the story.
the only reason why I'm thinking it's one is because of how they did the movie. And I was like, okay, so this is year one Batman. This is where this takes place.
I mean, maybe.
So,
Um, but yeah, who knows? I'm sure there's an answer, but
no, there's definitely answers.
but yeah, so they both get knocked out, which again is crazy. And we see that Scarecrow and Mad Hatter are dropping the money off at the cemetery. And that leads us to believe that they stole it for Falcone. And then, of course, they're not paying attention to Batman. They think he's just knocked out, but he wakes up and, I guess deals with them both.
I would always have eyes. If I ever knocked Batman out, I would always have someone watching him. I was like, man, if he moves, hit him again.
At all times.
At all times.
Matter of fact, if I'm Scarecrow, whether he's knocked out or not, he's getting fear toxined.
Yeah, I would, or just kill him. But you can't do that. Power of the pen. But still.
Yeah, he's getting dosed with the fear toxin, so he's gonna have bad dreams while he's out.
I'm gonna give him the worst ones. Where I was like, you can't get this out of your blood.
Yeah,
it was mixed with a little heroin.
Gee, little fentanyl.
Little fentanyl in there.
Oh God!
I was like, you gonna feel all this, Batman?
Yeah.
And then
you're going on a ride.
I was like, I'll take his mask off and never tell him. I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And then see the real fear on his face. It's like, I know who you are.
And that's one of the things is evidently, Poison Ivy didn't know who he was because I guess
incredible. I don't know.
Well, no, she didn't know who he was because whenever she tried to, hypnotize him later, she was like, "Let's take that mask off," and then he,
he headbutted the shit out of her. He was like,
"Yes, yes, he did. He knocked her shit. Oh yeah, that was. Oh.
That had to hurt. I know she got a concussion.
She got knocked out. She was knocked unconscious by it." So Harvey Dent wakes up and he's got blood on his hands and he sees his assassin in front of him. It's like, oh shit, he's dead. The nipple killer did it.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts hearing voices in his head. And the voice is like, you need to leave.
Yep.
We're leaving then.
Run.
And then he goes back to the house with, Gilda. And he says, hey, babe, you left the basement door open. And she's like, I have not been in the basement today. And then we see that it's Batman down there.
Yep.
And he found some stuff. So the voices in Harvey's head continue while he's in court. So he's in court. Sal Maroni, it's time to testify. And he starts, asking Sal, like, oh, so you've done all this heinous shit. Oh, okay, cool. And the reason you did it was because Falcone told you to? And he was like, Falcone?
No, he's a saint.
That man is a saint.
I was like, oh my God.
That man donates to children's hospitals. He grants make-a-wishes, and he just hears everybody start laughing at him. So now he's embarrassed. And while that's happening, Batman is on the roof meeting with Jim Gordon. And Jim Gordon is like, why did we need to meet up here? And he's like, I need to show you something.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it. It's not good.
It's not good. Mm-mm.
So he shows him what he found at Harvey's house. And then we see that Sal thinks Harvey's the nipple killer. So he's like, I'm doing exactly what Luigi told me to do. So this is from him. And, splashes him with the acid. And he says that shit will eat through concrete. You're done.
But it didn't.
It did not. But, whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes to the hospital and he starts hearing voices in his head, and then he gets a phone call. Phone call is from Falcone. And Falcone is like, hey, let's meet. So he leaves the hospital, he meets with Falcone, but it's a trap. So Falcone calls and he's like, of course you didn't show up. You don't do your own dirty work. And Falcone is like, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. Night night.
Yeah.
And then luckily, Harvey went ahead and listened to the voice in his head because the voice was like, hey, let me put your faith in me.
Put your faith in me. It's a moonlight situation.
Yeah. So the, the voice, the beast takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And he's able to get himself out of that jam by killing them both. First guy gets shot. Second guy, neck.
His neck broke in the water. This is
in the water. And then, Falcone's at his little birthday party. They sing him happy birthday, and then he makes a dent joke.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious. And we see on television, his sister is basically like, it's Dent. He's the holiday killer.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're kind of talking about how great she is on TV. And then the elevator opens.
Comes up and she is out of there.
Night.
God damn.
Yeah, Carla dead. And I was like, the fact that Falcone's birthday is considered a holiday, crazy.
It's hilarious, yeah.
But, so Batman goes to see Gilda and is like, your man's escaped. So, what's the deal? And she's like, I mean, I don't know.
No,
and then,
you know.
Yeah, you know something. And then he does I didn't know that Harvey went to Oxford. And then whenever she said, is that important? I was like, oh, it's you.
And he said, it's always the quiet one.
Yeah, it was you. And when the reason I knew it was her is because A, she spent a lot of this movie being weird.
Yeah, I was like, what is she so being cryptic? And because at first I was like, was she? I thought she had like a brain injury or something. I was like, is she like mentally challenged or something? And he's watching over her, or she knows something. And she's like,
I thought she was just depressed.
No,
I thought it was just straight depression. But the reason I knew it was her is because in Mask of the Phantasm, we find out that the Phantasm is a woman.
It's a woman.
So knowing that, I was like, oh, it's you, Gilda.
Yeah, I was like, the women did it.
Yeah, never count them out.
Never count them out. Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's the movie that taught me, like, oh no, you gotta make sure that everybody gets a fair accusation. So, yeah, whenever Batman says, I didn't know that Harvey went to Oxford, and she said, is that important? Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I got it.
You're like, mystery solved.
Yeah, mystery solved. Yep, that was all I needed. The fact that she and Alberto were together, I found that out when it was happening. But I figured that she was the holiday killer, but I wasn't 100% sure why though.
But the thing is, it's weird though, because they kind of like silhouetted the holiday killer to look like a dude.
That was the point.
I was like, you should have just had him masked and just kind of like thin.
That would have given it away. Like it wouldn't have been a mystery at that point.
Do what?
It wouldn't have been a mystery at that point. That would have given it away.
What if you like made him just like a skinny guy?
If you would have built them not large, because we were supposed to believe that it was Harvey.
It was Harvey.
And
wearing a fucking suit.
Yeah. And because my thought is like,
and she's a hell of a shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted to see, is like the montage of her learning these skills.
Where did you learn? Well, she was dating the old boy, so he probably taught her.
But he was out of the life. Like, he wasn't a part of the whole gangster life. So, I mean, she knew what he was, but
his dad probably taught him how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, she cold, because a lot of those were from a good distance.
And for you to shoot, Luigi was the best shot. I was like,
Luigi was a really good shot.
In the neck.
because there were a couple of people, point blank. That's fine. But yeah, when she shot Luigi, I was like, oh.
And I was like, oh, that shot.
And I know she was cold because after she shot Luigi and then got chased, we see that after Sal trips, she manages to circle back and leave the gun at the scene.
So she's very fast.
Yeah. Like this is like you had to have help.
She went, I guess she didn't.
She's just cold. And nobody suspected it because, she just seems like an uncomfortable lady.
I was like, I am a distraught housewife.
Yeah. Because, and again, whenever they kept bringing up the having a baby, like that made sense later also. But so, Harvey is in the sewers just making friends with Solomon Grundy.
It's great. I was like, oh, y'all are being friends.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I'm like, Solomon Grundy's whole thing is wanting to be left alone, but okay.
But I guess if you have shared trauma, it'll work.
Yeah.
And you fed him rats. So
you fed him rats. Yeah.
So if you feed them,
nice Monday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So Labor Day comes around and Batman goes to visit Calendar Man, who is just not helpful at this point.
No, he wasn't at this time. I was like, man, you here.
Yeah, like okay.
That's why he was like, I'm done. I was like, we're done.
Yeah, we're done here.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, you're not gonna help me? Okay, that's fine. We're done.
Yeah.
You can stay here and rot.
Rot for all I care, which they did because
that's exactly what happened.
Except him.
Yep, everybody out except him. But
good day, sir.
Yeah, Calendar Man wouldn't have been useful. So
I mean, he's really good with dates and holidays, but what else do you do?
What else do you do?
Yeah.
So
like, no threat.
Yeah. So we see that Two-Face and Solomon Grundy attack the truck that Maroni's being transferred in. And Two-Face is like, Maroni, you threw acid in my face. So I got something for you.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of like, Dent, you're alive? It's like, yes, I am. But you know who's not?
Who's not? Yeah.
Or who's not about to be? And Batman is like, no, you don't have to do this. And he's like, no, I'm not going to decide. I'm going to flip a coin. That's what's going to decide. And Batman is like, I know that trick. Yeah, you've already decided you're going to kill that man.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. He's like, he's already made his mind up.
Yeah. I know, I'm familiar with the coin in question. And so, luckily for Harvey, the nipple killer from the rooftop.
They're on the rooftop or a fire escape, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like a fire escape, yeah. And again, a very good shot.
Yeah, she don't miss.
She don't miss.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, she don't miss. And one of the things I always wondered is, like, it feels like the nipple should only suppress one shot. So I don't know why
it doesn't suppress it at all because it's a piece of rubber.
I mean, yeah, but like with the whole point of the nipple being there, like anybody who got shot once makes sense, but like whenever she like lit up the triad on Thanksgiving, I was like, you put a whole clip in there.
Yeah. And then look at baby nipples. She lost her baby. It all comes around.
Oh, of course.
Because I just realized that. I was like, oh, okay, there's the foreshadowing in there.
Well, then I was gonna, we were gonna come back to that, but yeah, like that was the whole reason for that. But because I understood why the nipple was on there, but I'm like, anybody you shot more than once, like it's not suppressed.
Not suppressed anymore. You're just shooting people now.
Yeah, you just empty in a clip. But okay, so Maroni gets shot and everybody escapes. Nipple Killer escapes. Two-Face escapes. Solomon Grundy. Like he says, move your ass, Grundy. We're leaving. And yeah, Solomon Grundy don't care. Like, what y'all gonna do to me?
I realized that Solomon Grundy is a great asset to have.
Yeah, that's a muscle.
That man was taking 50 cals to the forearms and the back, and he was like, that does nothing to me. I'm like, oh, you're a tank.
He's a tank. That's like he's a good muscle to have.
I'm like, kill everybody.
Yeah, and he's huge. Like he was It was like Batman looked like a 3-year-old in his hands.
But tall, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so um
Batman up with one hand, and I'm like, what the hell?
yeah. Again, Batman, like he had Batman's entire chest covered with his hand.
Or with his palm. I was like, I didn't look into Solomon Grande. Like, how did he become him? I didn't even
I
know.
I used to know Solomon Grundy's like origin story and history, but I can't remember it at this point.
It'd be a great horror movie to do. Well, like I said, you already know. I already said I was like, they need to make the that those villains into a scary movie.
Yeah. Like I
I
feel like
the
yeah, like
Batman and who else? Killer Croc, Scarecrow. Those four. I'd watch that movie 30,000 times.
yeah, and maybe even you throw in somebody you throw in Professor Pig because
Professor.
he's oh god. Yeah, Professor Pig is awful.
Oh,
Um you said what?
Clayface. There, there's your five.
Yeah. It'd be really easy to make like a really good horror Batman
God, so easy,
situation.
so easy.
Yeah. But it's Halloween and Gilda has a police detail. And she's like, "Y'all even blocked my car in. Like what are we doing?" And they were like, "Well, I mean, the commissioner said that you need protecting, told us not to leave, so yeah."
Yeah,
Um,
we know something's off with you.
yeah. So Solomon Grundy and Two-Face break into Arkham, and obviously they let everybody out. Batman goes to visit Falcone, and they have their discussion, and then Falcone pulls a gun on Batman, and Catwoman, of course, steps in, and Batman was like, "You didn't need to do all that. I was fine."
I was like, I'm bulletproof. Yeah,
Yeah, like he wanted to go, yeah, you didn't need to do all that, but
she
whatever.
mouth. That's about the only thing.
And then he says to her, like, "Why are you so obsessed with this man?"
Mm.
And she's basically like, "I don't know who my mother is, but I think I know who does know who my mother is."
Like my daddy.
Yeah, and it was like, "Oh, your father?"
Yeah,
She was like, "Yep, not 100% sure, but pretty sure."
sure, but I'm pretty sure he knows.
Yeah, if nothing else. And then, they make out for a little bit, and then shit starts blowing up in the background. And I'm like, and it sounded like the explosion happened really far away because it took the sound a minute to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked like the explosion happened and then the sound happened.
Like it seemed like it was like maybe a few blocks away.
Yeah, but yeah, she was like, "Oh shit, what's happening?" And we see the villains from earlier. We see Poison Ivy, the Mad Hatter, and
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. And that's the point where because Scarecrow, again, he fear toxin everybody that was around, and the Mad Hatter should have not been
He's
okay.
breathing just fine.
Yeah, talking shit and rhyming and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. But yeah, they're out there causing a ruckus. And then Solomon Grundy and Two-Face show up at Falcone's house, and they have with them the Penguin and the Joker.
Mm.
And let me tell you, the Joker had the fucking hand cannons in
Yeah.
this.
I was like, those are some big guns.
Yeah, and they were mean. Like in the first movie, whenever he was like escaping, uh the dude who was, I think it was like the main henchman who was shooting at him, but the way Joker's gun has some recoil, like that thing was,
Oh yeah, that was a hand cannon,
yeah,
and
like
he was shooting him like there was nothing. I was like, your wrist should be on fire, sir.
yeah, like those were like Resident Evil Desert Eagles.
Yeah, those were Wesker guns.
Yeah. So yeah, Falcone is trying to not get got, and Sophia goes in there with the ratatas. Like she went in
Yeah,
there with the big guns.
he had two Tommy guns under her fucking shoulders. I was like, oh my god.
And she was do 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 do. But Solomon Grundy was too much.
Yeah.
And the Penguin gets an umbrella bomb off,
Yep, and knocks her out.
knocks her out, and so
Falcon
uh
50 cal. I was like, everybody is.
they're
They have
strapped up.
eyes. They have to be to shoot these guns the way they are. Because I was like, that's a gun that you don't shoot like that if you're normal.
Yeah, like you need some help. Like you need both hands.
Yeah, but he was firing that thing off, and Grundy was like, this does nothing.
Yeah, he was protecting his people.
Yeah.
That's why we have you, because You're the muscle.
Taking my friends.
And so Two-Face captures him, and because Falcone is, thinking he's good, but then Poison Ivy comes through the window, gets him, and then he's tied up. And Two-Face just starts monologuing.
Yep, gotta get the speech off. Like, you always
Gotta get the speech off.
gotta get the speech off before you kill somebody.
Yeah, and he does the whole like, yeah, there are no more judges to bribe, no more, politicians to, yeah, no, we're ending this today.
Mm-hmm.
And he's about to flip the coin. Batman and Catwoman show up, and they just start throwing hands with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, luckily, Batman is prepared for the fear toxin situation. So that's not an issue. He's able to use it to subdue Solomon Grundy. And then, Poison Ivy tries to get him, but she gets a headbutt.
Headbutt still.
Yeah, because Batman, yeah, he's played this game before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then, the Two-Face gets Falcone and has the gun to his head and is like, we are either ending this or not right now. Flips the coin, it lands on the scratch side, it gets two of them. And then Sophia, of course, walks in right when that happens, and she's furious. I don't know why she attacks Catwoman, but
because I think Catwoman was over his body at the time.
I thought Catwoman had attacked I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But maybe. But yeah, she's like, Sophia, no. And yeah, she gets a shoulder check.
Yeah.
And I was like, you better move. That train coming.
I was like, freight train coming.
And then unfortunately, she, accidentally stumbles out of the window. And Catwoman tries to save her, but she decides, I'm out.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say, actually, another thing, in the comic book, I want to say that Catwoman was on the side of evil. Because I feel like I remember whenever they stormed in there, like Catwoman was like with the villains whenever they broke into Falcone's house. And I don't know if Catwoman threw her out of the window, but I feel like Catwoman was on the wrong side of justice in this comic book. Because I remember she looked very different. And I remember watching this movie the first time being like, okay, they made Catwoman, like, she's the one offering the assists in this. Because in the comic book, she was not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Catwoman wasn't able to save her, and then Falcone dies in Bruce's arms, which is, just super unfortunate. But, also, this is what was going to happen.
And then when I realized when he said, what did he say? Do you still believe or something like that? Wasn't that something he said to Bruce? Is that how he knew he was? Technically, he was like, okay, you're Bruce Wayne, but I'm dying, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, he just knew, he realized who it was.
Yeah. So then we see Harvey, Jim, and Batman on the roof one last time. And Harvey's basically like, I did what needed to be done. So
he was the voice of Gotham, pretty much.
Yeah, like I did what needed doing. All of the gangsters have been eliminated. So yeah, there was nobody who he couldn't buy his way, bribe his way, threaten his way out of this. We're done here. And Jimbo, you can arrest me. I did all of it.
Yep. He's like, take me to jail.
Take me to jail. And Batman goes to see Gilda, who's, just burning shit in a fire.
Yep.
And that's when we realize that Batman was like, yeah.
It was me, Barry.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. So Gilda basically is like, yeah, we were in love. We were going to start a family. I was good and pregnant.
Barry.
But it was unacceptable to the Roman and the family. They couldn't have, a baby out of wedlock. And so they had our marriage annulled.
And my child ripped from me.
And my child ripped from me. So, yeah, I married the guy and also, P.S., yeah, I killed Alberto and don't feel bad about it.
Feel bad. That's the weird thing. I'm like, the man that was about to give you a child, you just fucking just shoot him.
That was the thing that got me. I was like,
But then again, maybe she was off screen a long time. Maybe she did have a breakdown about that. She's like, I had to kill him.
yeah. And it may be a situation where she feels like Alberto picked the family over her. Like maybe that's
Yeah, there's
why.
that because they could have just. I was like, you could have just, with your education, you could just got a job and left.
Yeah. Like who knows? But yeah, like because I'm guessing Alberto.
But Alberto wanted the family business. He
Yeah,
was.
like he wanted to be involved, and so yeah, he chose the family. Is what I'm get like. What happened in Gilda's mind was like, oh yeah, you chose
Oh,
them
damn.
over us, and so yeah, it is kind of your fault that our baby was whatevered.
Yeah, because they could have just upped and left and been like quiet about it until the child was born.
Yeah, but
But
nah,
but the thing is, in your brain, you're like, oh, maybe my dad will accept this. No.
no, they're very traditional in that way.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Except,
they're
except they aren't because his dad slept with the help and Selena Kyle was born.
yep,
So
you know,
yeah, so
but whatever.
yeah, well,
He's not a good guy.
yeah, he's not a good man. There you go.
Yeah, Selena Kyle, and Selena Kyle was a secret because Selena Kyle's mom came up missing.
Did
So
she?
because she said she never met her mom.
Yeah.
So Falcone,
Later, something.
yeah, Falcone probably figured this time you get rid of the baby. Like that'll really,
Yeah, we're not going through this again because I've already done it.
yeah, we're not doing this. It's like, yeah, nah. So yeah,
And then
Falcone, terrible guy.
all full circle.
All full circle.
All full circle. See, that's why it's the best DC animated movie. Perfect writing.
So yeah, and because she lost her baby, that is, that explains why there's a nipple on all of the guns when she's eliminating all of the people that Falcone cares about.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, full circle. So,
everything.
and one of the things that I thought was interesting is Batman just kind of leaves.
Gilda's house?
Yeah.
I mean, because I think Batman has a soft heart for women. I swear to God, he does. Because even if, on the side of justice, like, I mean, he'll beat you up if you're doing a lot of atrocities. But if he like understands, oh, you went through a lot of trauma, I get it. We're okay.
Listen, Batman's whole thing is justice, not vengeance. And
But that was all vengeance.
honey, you killed a lot of people.
A lot of people.
But also, you kind of cleaned up the streets.
Yeah, I was like, you helped out a lot.
Yeah, like these are people I don't have to deal with anymore. So
because that's how justice works sometimes.
yeah, so like Harvey already took the fall for it. You've been through enough.
We've been through enough, so there we go.
So I guess whatever. We'll just charge it to the game and keep it going. Because that's his concern was, is holiday over? I need to know.
That's the only thing. He's like, if you're done and this is all done, then it's a new chapter.
And she said, yeah, not done, finished. Is you finished or is you done?
Is you done? Okay.
So yeah, she said, I is finished. So and he was like, as long as you're finished, I'm good. So yeah, he was like, okay, cool. And yeah, he just walks away and just lets her be.
I mean, Batman has done that a few times with some people. And vice versa. I remember in the animated series when that henchman walked into that room and Batman was in there and he just stared at him and he was like, "There's nobody in here."
Yeah, that was the movie Mystery of the Batwoman, and I love that scene because yeah, like
there's nobody in here.
Like anybody in there? Nope.
He's like, nope.
Nope. And walked right off. And I was like, that's one of the most perfect Batman scenes. Like that encapsulates what it is.
What it is, I'm telling you. I do the same thing. I'd be like, man, I'm just working for a check for these guys. If we're good and you're not gonna break my legs, I'm gonna let you do what you have to do.
Because yeah, like my thought, like I'm not being paid enough to deal with that.
Deal with that. I'm not.
No,
he's the leader of the Justice League.
Yeah, no, I don't need it.
I don't need any of those problems. I have a wife.
Yeah, I have a family to return to.
have a family.
So, yeah. But and then, Bruce and Selena are chilling at the house.
Yeah, then she's just at the house now. Do you think? Oh, of course, he tells Alfred everything. So
Oh yeah. I
I
mean,
think
because
Alfred feels about that. He's like, you're sleeping with the bad guys.
I mean, bad-ish. Because that's another, like, Batman's real okay with Catwoman's gray.
I guess
Because it's like, well, she's not breaking any laws. Yes, she is. She's a thief.
she's a thief.
She'd be stealing shit all the time. She stole your watch.
I think she's probably killed people too.
Oh, she will let people die.
Or that she'll let people die. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know if she's killed anybody, but she will let somebody die.
I think she was about to kill that guy on that bridge because she got them claws out.
Mm, yeah, again, she's pretty gray.
I
But
guess. She also got that thing on her, so that's why he couldn't get her.
that's why he locked in.
Why he locked in.
Yeah, like, yeah, you ain't going nowhere. Yeah, come here. Yeah, Catwoman indeed.
Catwoman until what's her name shows up. I
Well,
love her name.
Catwoman's his main lately. Like, that's the one he proposes to and all that. But I mean, there are others that,
Man, he's like Superman. I took your woman.
yeah,
There's that
that
poison
was
ivy
that was great.
assaulted him while he was under duress for 3 months.
Yeah, and then of course there's Talia.
Talia. Oh yeah, the Damon's son or mom.
Yeah,
Created life with her. I mean, so he didn't create life with Catwoman.
but with Talia, he was drugged.
Oh,
Yeah, she drugged him, and
did he
he
ever go?
said
Did he ever go crazy with Harley, or was Harley too infatuated with the Joker?
There's a movie where Harley fucks Robin
I
as an
do.
adult, but
That squad movie. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, Harley's free. She does what she wants.
Okay.
The thing that was weird is when Batman was with Barbara Gordon. That was weird to me.
I was like, this does not need to happen. Why did
Agreed.
it happen?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, that was a say, Bruce. I heard
Do
you
what?
like him young.
But yeah, that was a wild because technically, because if you go into this timeline, Bruce is 26, 27, and she was 6.
Yeah, like she was a child.
He was 6 years old, so he would have been like 50,
Probably.
50 something or close to 60. I don't even know when Bruce stopped being Batman.
Right around 50. But again, that is why Barbara and Dick were a thing, because they were, of the same
Yeah.
age range. But anyway, sidebar. Um, yeah, Catwoman just in the house.
Yeah, just in there. I love it when you're wrong.
And yeah, he gets some trick-or-treaters, and then again, we see an
Boy,
after credit scene where because he mentions, like, we need more good people doing shit.
and not
So
just because there's like technically it's his first year, so he doesn't even know where the other demigods are.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he's not aware of all of the things that are happening.
Yeah, I was like,
And
you're
so,
in one area. You haven't even been to Metropolis yet, and it's right up the street.
yeah. So,
I was like, you don't know there's an alien that can crack the earth in two.
and he probably, assuming they are in the same time period, because whenever it's hard to tell what year this is, because this happens in the same universe as Superman Man of Tomorrow, but in Superman Man of Tomorrow, he absolutely has like an iPhone and FaceTimes his parents. So
I mean, they had GPS in there, so I wouldn't put it past them.
again, that's the thing, like, time periods are weird. So I don't know.
No, I was like, Kal-El is up there chilling.
So yeah. Um anyway, all of this, everybody meets everybody later, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, so Edwin,
Mm,
scale of 1 to 10.
10.
Okay,
10 out of 10. That
alrighty,
one's what, 9? Yeah, this one's 10 out of 10. It brings it all together. Perfect story, perfect dialogue, perfect.
okay,
And
okay.
certain scenes and how they drew it. Because I mean, when Harvey when they arrested him, and he was talking about, remember when we went up in this building and we said we were going to do it this way, and they showed the human side of Harvey, I was like, that's good directing right there. Because that
Okay.
was Two-Face. He knew. He was like, yeah. And I was like, we said that, but the other side has to do the dirty work.
The
Yeah.
other side had to get it done. Yeah, he did. He had to do the deed,
Yeah.
and that's how it's got to be.
Has Bruce ever had to make a decision? Like, has Bruce ever had to choose life and death?
This Bruce hasn't, but there are stories where, you know, with as vast as comic books are, and the fact that Bruce has been written for, almost 90 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are.
Having 100 years for this shit.
Yeah, like there are situations where that has had to happen.
I
So
mean, I was like, Bruce, when have you had to lay on a grenade?
yeah,
I
but
mean,
again, with as
because
many stories as there are, yes,
there are
that
no
has had to happen.
there is either one way or not, and
Yeah,
I've never faced that in my sight at all yet, or else someone else had to take the fall for
yeah, okay. Um, I got to give this a 9.
it.
I'm happy with it, but again, not my favorite.
No, would you
Um,
say your favorite was
Re-
was it
The Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, part one, part two, like it's so good. But yeah, like I like what they did with this. It was actually a mystery because one of the things that can happen is it's a little too predictable. But this was not the case. Like, and the way that they tied it all together, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how
this is
movies should be.
yeah, like this
I was like,
this was a well told story in my opinion.
you have your action, but it's a detective movie, a film noir for
Yeah,
real.
and again, they keep leading you to believe it's Harvey, and
And like take a look.
and you're like, is it Harvey? But yeah,
Nope.
I
Because
thought it
because
was.
the thing is, I was like, the reason why I didn't say it was Harvey, even when I first watched it, because I was like Harvey's Two-Face already, so why would he have to be a cloaked killer?
Yeah.
It's clearly somebody else.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah.
But that's the thing. It also, so in Gotham by Gaslight, um, that's a movie
Have I,
where I don't know, but it takes place in like the 1800s. Like it's very specifically an
oh,
older time.
because I was like, I'm not watching this. I don't want to watch the Queen's English. I don't want to watch this. It's like almost the Batman with the samurai.
Batman Ninja was absurd. Um, it was a crazy time.
I watched
That
that one.
episode was really fun to review, but it was a chore to watch.
I do want to watch that crazy one where it's got the craziest looking Joker adaptation, with the spiked like crown on his face. Which
Oh,
that?
they haven't. Yeah, that's the Batman Who Laughs, and I don't think he's been animated yet.
He hasn't.
I don't think so. I think he's pure comic book right now.
That shit looks wild.
Yes, yes, it is. Like that whole series. Yeah, it gets crazy. But um, yeah. Anyway, in Gotham by Gaslight, it turns out that Jim Gordon is the villain in that movie.
Mm.
And they find because Batman ends up in his basement, and that's where he sees like all of his shit. And yeah, like it was
Zodiac,
a like, oh, I would have never known. So yeah,
Zodiac killer kind of thing. If you ever seen that movie, Zodiac, it's a really good movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
okay.
Because
But
when that dude was like, he doesn't make the posters, I do them by hand. I was like, oh. And then he just followed to this basement. I was like, Jake, don't go down there. I was like, don't go
don't
down
do
there.
that. Don't do that.
But he couldn't. He couldn't help it. I was like, oh God.
But yeah. But anything else on this movie?
um, I forgot that Soldier Boy is Batman.
Yes,
Yeah, Jensen Ackles. I was like,
Jensen is Batman. Yes,
oh,
and I fucks with a Jensen Batman.
he could actually be Batman if he wanted to.
I think now he's too old.
It, shit, be an old Batman or middle-aged Batman. I don't know.
That's like Ben Affleck. Like we're good.
Ben Affleck was a damn good Batman. Bruce
Yeah,
Wayne.
Yeah, he was.
And people hate it. I was like, this man actually had the perfect balance.
Yeah, like he was really good.
Everybody was like, no, Christopher Nolan. I was like, no. I was like, no, Christian Bale was a great Bruce Wayne, but not a good Batman.
Yeah, like again, Ben Affleck is my favorite live action,
Well,
and I will stand on that.
Robert Pattinson's my Batman. That
And
shit.
and that's fine. I get that, and that
That,
makes sense that because this movie and the Batman both like the Batman pulls from Long Halloween.
yeah, that's what it is. That's why I loved it. I was like, this is an
Yeah,
actual comic book movie to screen.
yeah. I mean, of course, they changed several things, but it
Yeah,
was still well done.
very, very well done. Best car chase scene I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
They didn't show
So
the trailer. That movie might be one of the best movies of the decade. Actually, it still might be one of the best movies of the decade.
that trailer is one of the reasons I stopped watching trailers.
Yeah, that and
That and Infinity War were the main ones.
well, Infinity War started showing everything like after like a week and a half.
Well, that's like Infinity War showed shit that never happened. Like
Oh,
the stuff that was in the trailer wasn't in the movie.
yeah, and Mark Ruffalo made sure that the Ruffalo brothers, the Russo brothers,
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna do a whole bunch of extra shit just to throw everybody off. I was like, that's so much work to keep a
Yeah.
secret. Just don't show the shit. It's so much easier.
But yeah, those two movies are the main reasons I don't watch trailers anymore. So yeah. But all right. But yes, I kind of fucks with a Jensen Ackles Batman.
That'd be lit. And what's his name could be Robin. Oh my god, well no, he's too soft.
Who's too soft
The
to be
boy
Robin?
guy from the boys.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I wouldn't cast him as Robin.
Who's a good Robin? Who's a good
Honestly,
Grayson?
uh, well, I mean, it would depend on if we're doing adult, because I was thinking Damien, the kid from Umbrella Academy, would be a really good Damien.
I haven't even watched that show, but I heard it's decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Gotta watch it.
It's one of those shows where, at least in my watching of it, like it started out really good and then it dropped off a little bit.
Dropped off.
Yeah.
Because the crazy thing is, I finished all of The Walking Dead finally, all of it,
All of it.
all of it.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, people were like, yeah, it kind of dropped off and blah blah blah. I was like, no, it didn't.
Oh, it was good to the end?
It was good to the end. I was like, no,
Okay.
I haven't watched I'm not going to because I watched it out of kind of order. But The Ones Who Lived is the end, and it shows how Rick and Michonne found each other.
Okay.
That was the for real end. But how they handled Negan, how they handled all that, I was like, this ended correctly.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
What else? One of my shows, Rurouni Kenshin, got a revamp on Netflix. They redid the animation because the original animation was from '93.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But I was like, so they just reanimated it, but they didn't change anything. They were like, yeah, it's damn near shot for shot.
It's just the show. Yeah.
It's just the show, but just 2024 animation. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, I guess, even though the original is still great.
Yeah, we love nostalgia. Honestly, nostalgia's big money.
I'm telling you, the best animation ever times are the 80s and 90s. Because those are my favorite. Our favorite shows were from that time.
Yeah, and they're still good today.
And they're to this day. Cowboy Bebop. And the crazy thing is, my favorite animes aren't even everybody's animes. And I was like, because I really do like detective shit. Because I just realized all the ones I like got deep, dark story. Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, Foolie Cooley. That one's not even old, but that show is just wild. But what else? What was there? I'm missing one. I think Akira is the best animated thing on the planet. That movie is a masterpiece. just because everybody was like, they handmade everything, hand drawn, everything. I was like, oh my god. When I looked at that, when I looked at how they drew the city and all like the scape of the city, I was like, that is so much man hours of animation. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
exactly.
I couldn't
It's
do it.
same. Like that's not for me.
I was like, that is not for me.
But in the next episode, we will be discussing Injustice. So until then, salutations.